Okay, so where was I? Oh, by the way, I just want to state that leaf blowers are satanic, okay? Speaking of the devil card, I actually wrote that on my YouTube channel because I got interrupted by leaf blowers. And it's like they don't even suck leaves. That's the worst part about it. They just blow them somewhere else. I've seen landscapers just take the leaves and just blow it across the street. You know what I mean? Yeah, and they might pick them up, but I mean, wouldn't it make more sense if they were like vacuums, that they actually suck them into a canister? Okay, all right, let me continue. I actually picked up this card again because I wanted to make sure that I touched upon it. This is the card that crosses you, the Tower card, and yes, this idea of not taking action yourself and kind of waiting for perhaps something else to make the decision for you. When you make the decision yourself, Gemini, whatever the Two of Swords represents to you, and it could be making the decision just to move on with your life if you are single, but you just keep getting sucked back in with a negative relationship, then you don't have to worry that something outside of you is going to kind of come crashing down on you. But if you play with fire, you could easily get burned. If that devil card individual, that could be like really bad energy, and the Tower card could be something that erupts, that comes out in the open. And I would say especially in June, because we do have a full moon in your opposite house, which is the relationship house. And that could be something where it's like everything is revealed and you're like, you had no idea that this person was married, that this person, all these things that are unpleasant that you found out. And you may have known that this person was bad news, but you didn't know how bad. So just a friendly reminder that rather than a kind of refusing to make a decision because you're like in denial, be receptive to the idea of what it could possibly mean for you to take the initiative and to make a decision. So the advice is the Three of Swords. In this particular context, I think it means a clean break, maybe a clean break from the past. And I would say also look at if you have a history, especially Gemini, if you have Venus in Cancer, or the moon in Pisces, the moon in Cancer, the moon in Scorpio, or maybe those signs where you are really sensitive to rejection, or you have experienced betrayal, or especially rejection. So especially if your moon is in Cancer or Pisces, that you, or Venus in Cancer, that you are willing to tackle the issue of rejection. And what does that really, really mean? Because when you do self-inquiry work, and you can kind of look that up, Byron Katie offers her own version, but there are other ways to do it too. It's basically kind of deconstructing your thought patterns. And I think Gemini people would really enjoy this practice because you like to analyze, and I think you would just be really good at kind of deconstructing things and getting to the root of whatever is going on. And part of that is seeing something for what it is. So in other words, the rejection may come from the fear of rejection may come from something in childhood where you had a parent abandon the family, or you didn't know one of your parents, or just something that made you feel like you were not loved, that you were not cared about. And that can obviously lead to a lifetime of feeling, afraid of getting too close to somebody. And also having a misperception of what it means for somebody to do this. Like assuming that it means this when it really doesn't. When it means like you're not good enough, like you're not lovable. When that's not true. When they may feel that they're not lovable, and so they're putting it on you, but you kind of take it, you absorb that negative part of things and don't see it for what it is. So it could be that you need to do some healing on your own, and maybe even if you're looking for love right now, it's not necessarily a good time. Perhaps the devil is somebody that you dated, and you dated them recently. So you keep going back to that relationship because it's comfortable. The devil, I did a love reading last month for Sagittarius, and I said, the devil is still the devil. And that's what I would say to you. The outcome, the Page of Wands, good news coming your way. Hearing from somebody, maybe hearing from somebody that you care about, that you have a strong affinity for. This could be a fire sign, which is very compatible with air signs like Gemini. So an Aries, a Sag, a Leo could be the beginning of a passionate relationship. So again, do you notice that the Devil card has is a Pentacles? Now, yes, Capricorn is connected to the sign, so it's going to be that. But just what it represents, which is the earthbound energy. It's not to say that earth signs in and of themselves are bad. It's just saying that there is a shadow side to everything. And even to the elements, they can have, good points and shadow aspects. And so with the earth energy, there's that base kind of non-spiritual and just superficial, maybe gluttonous or whatever, indulgent, sensual, indulgent. And with the fire or the wands, where the Page of Wands could be a new relationship with that kind of energy behind it, there's creativity, there's freedom, there's enthusiasm, and these are the qualities that you really resonate with. I think much more than the earth energies. And of course, that's a generalized statement, not based on individual charts. So I really like that card for you as the outcome. So it ends on a positive note. Now let's look at the universe has your back. I'm going to pick a card from here. Interesting. This is kind of apropos. I love the drawings on this. My faith has the power to turn trauma into healing, conflict into growth, and fear into love. This is kind of like what this is about, because I mentioned about this card. Maybe you need to heal. And that's the thing, the trauma into healing. And conflict, a lot of people these days, it's very fashionable to be against conflict and just, say light and love all the time. And really, and it says here, fear into love. And conflict is a catalyst. And it's, you know, in astrology, there's an angle that's very irritating called a square. It's challenging. So for Gemini, a Virgo person forms a square with you. So there's an irritation, there's a friction, there's a clash. You know, your approach to life differs in some ways greatly. Not to say that it's like completely apart, but so the point being that you would think that, oh, it must be a bad situation when it can actually lead to growth. Because when you butt up against somebody and you have to acknowledge that they have their own way of looking at life, it causes you to be exposed to that, and you go, well, I don't know if I agree with them, but that's interesting. Okay, this is how they see things. And this is why, you know, always being around people that are like you is kind of, it may feel comfortable, but it's very limiting. When you are among people from different walks of life and different backgrounds, you may not agree with the way that they live their life, and you may not agree with their culture or whatever, but at least you get exposure to something different from your own. So you understand that your way of living isn't the only way to live. And so there's always like that positive side. And so even the devil can give you that kind of what we would call contrast. And that can be a route to growth. But it doesn't mean that you have to stay with the devil. Maybe you've had one too many dances with the devil, and it's time to be with somebody who has a positive influence on you. Okay, Gemini, that's what I have for you. If you'd like a private reading, the link is below to my website. Have a great June. Bye.